This is Hino's the Sport, bringing you that heat and that far. We keeping the foot on the what on the X. We keeping the foot on the what on the next, man. We got Jacob Lone Wolf in the building. We got Richy Rich in the building. What's up, guys? How you guys doing today? We're gonna start off with
Doing
Jacob
good,
Lone Wolf.
man.
Go ahead, Richard.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing today? Hope you guys had a good, break, holiday break, and Merry Christmas. We're ready to bring in the new year. Seeing that all the stuff that we've been going through for 2020, it's been a challenging year. I'm hoping that the year 2021, brings a lot of you know better outcomes for everyone. That that need help, and stuff like that. More opportunities open, and things start to, on a better track of being repaired, constructed. Us moving forward and getting back on track, getting things back to normal. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, Jacob Lone Wolf. What's up, man? Talk to us. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Life here in Melbourne. I hope everyone had, a happy Christmas. I know this year's been tough, but I would say, the restrictions have eased, so people here have enjoyed going out together. Which is great to see. You know, hopefully, in 2021, hopefully things can get back to normal and people can start doing the normal routines and start traveling. Yeah, I want to wish he knows, happy birthday to you. I know you're 39, but you're getting old as hell.
I
But
don't know
yeah, I
about
want to
all
wish you.
that, but
I want to wish you a happy birthday and Merry Christmas to everybody in the chat and to Rich as well. So yeah, that's all. I'm just excited about the talks we're going to talk about today.
all right. Well, we gonna clarify that one real quick, man. Listen, man. Us as men, we can live. We can live if we take care of ourselves. We can live good up until 100 years old. So I'm just scratching the surface. That's how we're gonna look at it. Scratching the surface. You still got Similac. You still wet behind the ears. Me, I'm scratching the surface. So that's the difference.
Uh,
All right, man. Let's get on to it, man. First topic at hand, man, because we got to talk about this shit, man. We got four topics to talk about, and we really got to delve into it. The first topic at hand is Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry. There's been a lot of chirping, a lot of murmuring between the two of them. It's the true alpha extraordinaire versus the high octane beta dichotomy. We need to explain to boxing, I'm saying boxing, we need to explain to basketball fans the difference between when we say a true alpha extraordinaire and versus a high octane beta. Basically, it's an option one versus an option two. Basically, when it's all said and done, it goes into the realm of basketball hierarchy. See, people forget this stuff. This is the standard of basketball. This is how we judge basketball at the highest levels, and people forget this. Basketball has a hierarchy. There is two schools of basketball thoughts. And if people follow these two schools of basketball thoughts, and I'm talking about i.e. NBA players, they will be on the right wave of things. They will be on the right ship. You as a basketball player, you need to know where you fall. There is the Michael Jordan school of thought, and then there's the Scottie Pippen school of thought. And then there's the role players. But when we're talking about players that can impact the floor, players that are dynamic, players that score, players that have the ability to put the ball on the floor and that really has the ability to change the dynamic on how the situation of basketball is played, on how the momentums are swinging, on how the pendulum swings. You need to know where you fall under that school of thought. Are you an option one school of thought player? Are you a Michael Jordan is type of player? Or are you an option two Scottie Pippen is type of player? There are a lot of basketball players masquerading, and I call them sheep's clothing. They're fake option ones, masquerading themselves as if they are option one, but really they're option two, i.e. Damian Lillard, i.e. James Harden, i.e. Russell Westbrook, i.e. Stephen Curry. All of these players are option 2 players, and they are masquerading themselves as option 1. See, this is the problem in today's lamest basketball, this Rudy Poo and Plum Plum Brain generation, classic Doden Troglodyte generation, ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy rhetoric generation. They get caught up in this prisoner of the moment fiasco or mindset into believing that they are more than meets the eyes, that they are really transforming the situation. And in actuality, they are not. Players need to understand what school of thought they are. James Harden, you are not a Michael Jordan school of thought player. Sorry to burst your bubbles. I don't know who lied to you. Your tenure with the Houston Rockets proved this. Stephen Curry, you are not an option 1 player, because when you had the opportunities in the NBA Finals prior to Kevin Durant showing up, where is your heavyweight lifting of NBA Finals MVPs to denote that you are an option 1 player? There's no way Andre Iguodala houses a Finals MVP from. How did that happen? How did you also not get other Finals MVPs when Kevin Durant was there, when Kevin Durant wasn't there? And the year that Kevin Durant actually was like, here's a Finals MVP, you couldn't even take it. So Kevin Durant had to take over the game and actually take it. So he's not an option 1. And I know Dub Nation, I know Babyface Assassin fanboys or fangirls, I get it. Chef Curry with the pot. A lot of people that are Stephen Curry fanboys or fangirls, they don't want to understand. He's a high-octane beta, aka alpha wannabe on the basketball court, because his game lacks in the defining moments. Stephen Curry freezes up. This is what we're talking about when we talk about basketball. In life, everything has a hierarchy. This is the problem. When Hnos of Sport says bend the proverbial fucking knee, when we all walk out of the door, we all, even Hnos of Sport has to bend the proverbial fucking knee. We all have to bend the knee, man. When you go to the 9 to 5, you got to bend the knee to the demands of the 9 to 5. When you go out there to the store and you go and buy produce, you got to bend the effing knee to the produce that you're purchasing, because guess what? It's going into your body, so you have to submit to it. It says that it's organic. It says that it's conventional. It tells you all of the ingredients, but you're bending the knee and you're submitting the will to the fact that you're having faith that this stuff that you're going to put in your body is going to give you actual sustenance. So when Hnos of Sport says bend the proverbial fucking knee, this is a biblical term. We all have to serve. Now there's levels to this servitude stuff. There's levels to it. Some of us are just higher up the food chain, like a Hnos of Sport. You see what I'm saying? We high up the damn food chain. But the bottom line is servitude is what it is. It's servitude. Everyone has to bend the effing knee. So when people get hot and bothered like Gris, because Hnos of Sport keeps saying it, it's a truth-telling terminology. So when we look at these guys and how it correlates to the basketball court, we have to ask ourselves an underlying and a fundamental question here. The reason why the Dub Nations are in the position that they're in is because Stephen Curry didn't bend the effing knee to Kevin Durant. I mean, it's just that simple. Let me tell you where Stephen Curry messed up. He did not make the public proclamation. He made the initial public proclamation, which was good because it got Kevin Durant there, right? He said, I'm bending the effing knee to you because you're the greater player. That's nice. But that's a sublet version of bending the effing knee. We want a primary version of bending the effing knee. It should have been what Dwayne Wade did. You see what Dwayne Wade did with LeBron James? That's what Stephen Curry should have did with Kevin Durant. This is your team. Dub Nation, hello. This is Kevin Durant's team. Let's make this very clear. Every time people were sitting here saying, well, Dub Nation is, salute to you, Low Sports Network. Every time people were saying, well, Dub Nation is Stephen Curry's team, Stephen Curry never checked people on that. That was his fatal error. You see, the Scottie Pippen school of thought always shows you that the option 2 has to have the unquenchable, the undeniable, without fail, and the utter truth of bending the effing knee to option 1. Every time Scottie Pippen was out, you remember that when Jordan was gone for 2.5 years, Pippen was always making his public plea. Jordan, when you coming back? No, we need you on the basketball court because option two always has the burden to bend the effing knee to option one. This is basketball at its highest levels. When a hierarchy is not established in a team, the team goes array. Every basketball team needs a quantified, calculated, verified, and certified option one. Every basketball team needs a quantified, calculated, certified, and verified option two. And then every basketball team needs a certified, verified, quantified, and calculated sum of all parts, i.e. role players, the Horace Grant of the world. That's a third school of thought. The reason why I use Chicago Bulls is because Chicago Bulls understood the school of thought of basketball better than any other team. This is why they were so dominant. You want to know what a dominant team looks like? Dissect the Chicago Bulls through and through because they practiced, they unctioned, and they followed hierarchy at its highest levels. Pippen never got out of line as an option two, trying to be option one over MJ. Now, when MJ wasn't there, he thought he was option one. That's a whole nother story in of itself. But every time MJ was there, he bent the effing knee 100% of the times. This is why Stephen Curry no longer has Kevin Durant. Stephen Curry didn't bend the effing knee 100% of the times. So you know what Kevin Durant did? He X'd him. Okay, it's nice that you gave me a sublet bending of the effing knee and said I was the better player, but you got to give me damnation. You got to let me snatch that thing up completely, utterly, unquestionably, and without fail. And if you don't do that, then guess what? I'm going to take my true alpha extraordinaire basketball game and go to another team and impact it there. That's what Kevin Durant did. This is why you saw Stephen Curry had the public plea. I know you saw Jacob Lone Wolf. I know you saw Richy. It was pathetic. He looked like he was crying on national TV. We need to win immediately. No, the chickens, like Malcolm X said, the chickens have come to fucking roost. You decided your fate. You didn't bend the effing knee. And like they do with the Pope, you didn't kiss the ring while you was at it. That's what you're supposed to do. So when I say these things, it's funny to a lot of people, but it's the truth. People don't know how to bend the effing knee. When somebody's superior to you, you bend the effing knee to them. It's that simple. This is what cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-telling fashion is all about. I'm not here to sugarcoat the truth to you guys. The truth is not meant to be sugarcoated. It's meant to be told to you in its most visceral form. And the bottom line is as simple as this. The dub nations are in the predicament that they're in because they didn't bend the effing knee to Kevin Durant. And here's the other issue that Stephen Curry did, and I'm going to pass the mic to Jacob Lone Wolf. Stephen Curry made the issue of not checking Draymond Green. See, option two always has a burden. Option one don't have no burden. I don't think people understand that. You know what's the only burden option one has? It's called leadership. And when I say leadership, lead the fray on the basketball court. That's it. After that, option one gets to take their 2 feet, put it up in the air, and chill. They don't need to deal with you. After I'm done with you on the basketball court, I don't need. That's why I like the way Kobe Bryant was. Kobe Bryant, if it wasn't basketball related, I don't need to deal with you. I'm not gonna say I am exactly like that too. After I'm done with you, I'm done with you. What I need you for? This is basketball right now. So I'm going to lead you. I'm going to lead you through the fray. But after this, we done. This is the burden that option one has. Leadership. Option two has to do 2 things. They have to bend the effing knee to option one all the time. Because when option two gets out of hand, I'm going to tell you guys something. And you guys are going to be like, man, he knows you right. Don't you notice a basketball team always go astray when option two always ramming up against option one? That gives the role players, it gives everybody else the ability to think they can challenge option one. It's because they see option two doing that shit. That bullshit and that fuck shit. They see them doing it, so they feel that they can do it too. Option two has to utterly submit. That means the second they come into the room and option one is there, on your damn knees, kissing the damn shoe, kissing the ring, and submitting. I know people don't want to hear this. I'm going to tell you the truth. You got to submit. That means you got to know this person is superior to you. This is where Stephen Curry failed. And that's why he's on national TV crying right now. Because he's realizing, oh, fuck. If I was listening to this guy, he knows, man, this dude was telling me for the last 2 years, I should have been the effing knee. I should have kissed the damn ring. Because guess what? The dynasty would have been intact. You guys are now realizing, you know, when they always say, well, LeBron leaves the team, right? He obliterate. No, you guys are real. Every time Kevin Durant leaves the team, this is when you know you're a dynamic basketball player. When Kevin Durant left OKC, where have they been? OKC is the butt of all shit jokes. You know, when you go to the bathroom and you lay a big one and you drop a load, you're like, damn, that thing stink. That's OKC right now. Golden State Warriors are the butt of all jokes. They went from top 10, I gotta quote the Jay-Z reference, to not even diction at all, dog. It was like a takeover, man. They went from being a notariable team, a dominant team. This is the power of Kevin Durant. Why do you think the LBJ Riders media can't stand KD trade 5? Mr. Do Me and I Chill. The 50, 40, 90 walking gazelle. I mean, come on, man. This guy petrifies LeBron James of the world. But he also is a transformative basketball player on the basketball court. Now you guys understand the power of a Kevin Durant on the basketball court. What do you think he's going to do with Brooklyn? Y'all see the little snippets of what Brooklyn's all about? Y'all say, oh, if Kevin Durant's going to return back. Kevin Durant is rambling in the competition. Kevin Durant exposed the Boston Celtics' zone defense. This is what 50, 40, 90 walking gazelles do. So you got to understand, in a season, when you have the true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics, for that season and that reason, bend the effing knee, because that's where your blessings reside. Because once he leaves, he's only there for a season. Once he leaves, he takes the blessings with him. So the question is, how many times you want to be blessed while the blessings are there? That's the emphatic question that people need to understand. And that's the delineation. That's the dichotomy. That's the separation. That's the gulf. And that's the division between an option 1 and an option 2. Stephen Curry now is realizing what Malcolm X said so many decades ago. The chicken has come to fucking roost. Talk to them, Jacob Longwood.
Yeah, absolutely agree. That option 2 always has to bend to option 1, because we've seen throughout history in the NBA that every time a player that's like a Russell Westbrook felt that he was option 1 and Kevin Durant left, we've seen where their team went. If you want to know what he knows his sports saying, look at what Westbrook did and Steph Curry did. Those type of players. James Harden. Even though he got traded, every time a player has came to Houston, James Harden has never played well with them. Because he thinks he's an option 1. Granted, now the players that have come to Houston, they probably went better than him, but James Harden's not option 1. I don't agree with the exaggeration, kissing the shoes and all that. But you should respect the person that's superior and a better player than you. And I absolutely agree. We've seen throughout history, with the Chicago Bulls, that team was they had great chemistry. They had great chemistry because the players knew their role. You had a player, Michael Jordan, who was a clear option 1. Then you had a Scottie Pippen. Then you had a Horace Grant or a Dennis Rodman, who was the third wheel, and then it trickled down from there. And we've seen teams that, have had a lot of superstars on it, right? And every time there's always been like a confusion between who is the option 1. It's given role players to like disrespect the option 1, or like they have bad chemistry, like with the Washington Wizards, or that OKC when you had Westbrook, Melo, Paul George. Really, I would say the best player on that team, maybe I'll probably say it was Paul George, because he could do more things, but obviously it was Westbrook's team. But when you have a lot of players like that, it creates confusion, you know. And we've seen, even if you're not the most talented NBA team, teams that have a clear cut, definite role, they always tend to win, you know, regardless, even if they don't have the most talent on it. And that's where I see where Brooklyn's going at, you know. Even though Kyrie, I would say Kyrie's his own man, but I think Kyrie is smart enough to know, you know, the type of player that Kevin Durant is, where Stephen Curry and Russell Westbrook took for granted, you know. And I know this year that Brooklyn's going to do well, but even I'm not putting too much pressure on Brooklyn because it's their first year, you know. We've seen what happened with the Clippers last year, you know. Given some time, and we also know with Kevin Durant with his Achilles heel, you know, it takes at least 2 to 3 years to be at that same form that you were playing at, you know. So I think this year is more of an experiment year. I see them making the Eastern Conference Finals probably against Milwaukee, in my opinion, you know, because I think this is LA Always year, Kawhi's year. I think that the Clippers, it's their year, you know, and you know, yeah, every time, you know, an option one, they need to have the organization, you know, and I think the mistake that Steph Curry did was he didn't fully bend the proverbial knee, you know, even though on the basketball court he did, but when it came to the media and organization wise, I never one time saw Steph defend KD that year when the media was going at him. You know, every question they asked him was always about free agency. And I felt like Steph Curry, even though he wasn't the option one, it was his team from the standpoint he was drafted there. He played his entire career there. And I think Steph should have made the point and said, hey, guys, you know, this is Kevin Durant's team, you know. I don't appreciate you guys asking, you know, our top player these questions, making him feel that he didn't belong. And you had reporters that were from the Bay, and it should have been in their best interest to not ask him all these questions and make him feel like he wasn't part of the team. But obviously that had a lot to do with it, as well as Draymond. You know, I think Steph should have cleared the way with that because he, you know, he has more voice in that organization, and he should have said, hey, Draymond, man, you know, you got to apologize and you have to mean it, you know, because if you don't, I'm not going to back you. I'm going to tell the front office to trade your ass. He didn't do that, you know, and that's why KD left, you know. It's like when you it's like going to like a new school, right? Or if you're in a new group, right? You're not fully accepted because you weren't drafted there, or I mean, you didn't know all the homies there. So sometimes you have to you have to back off a little bit, and that's what KD did because I don't think he ever fully felt he was accepted, you know, in the Warriors. Obviously, when it came to free agency, they did everything to get him, but I think once he was there, I think he felt like a little bit of a social outcast, you know. Specifically when it came to the media, sometimes his teammates, you know, they would always have Steph's back. And Steph, you know, he had more voice in that organization. And at that moment, he said, hey, this is his team. You know, he's a superstar. He's the one that's delivered. You know, he's the one that shot back-to-back clutch threes in the 2017 finals, I think game 3. And I think game 3 in 2018, one on LeBron and JR. He's the one that came up in the clutch time after time after time, you know, and he's delivered the goods. So we need to hand over the reins to him, you know, and I want to fully support him. And anybody that doesn't can kick rocks and get traded, you know, because he's the alpha of the team. He didn't do that, you know, and I think that he was at fault because now KD saw him. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go to a place to where I'm fully accepted and I have full control. You know, I think in Brooklyn, I think he found a home there. And I think he's from the Maryland area. You know, he came from that era where, you know, street ball. And, you know, I think Brooklyn is a great place where, you know, I think he doesn't have to worry about the politics, you know. And that's one thing I think Kevin hated. He hates the politics about basketball, you know, trying to, you know, play, you know, political games and, oh, this person doesn't like me and this and that. I think in Brooklyn, he doesn't have to worry about that because on the role players on that team, they're saying, "Hey, you're the option one." Kyrie's saying, "Hey, you're the option one." And I think Kyrie should know, and I hope he doesn't make this mistake that he butts head with KD because we saw with what he did in Boston. You know, he's not an option one on a great team. He's a great option two, but he's not an option one. So I think with Kyrie or what happened in Boston, he has to bend the proverbial knee. You know, this is KD's team. You know. So I don't think KD has to worry about that in Brooklyn. I think he can play basketball, and I think that's who he is. He said it. He said it before that it's all about basketball. I don't think he's like that type of LeBron James player where it's about the politics and all that. I just think he wants to play ball, and I think when he went to Golden State, even though he won championships, he had to worry about the politics. So yeah, that goes to show you that a great option one is needed in the NBA because we've seen teams that have lost those superstar players how they've shrunk. And every time, like for example, right? Because obviously the role players and the option two, they want to feel like they're the number one man. They want to have all the endorsements, they want to have the money and this and that, right? So when they're in that situation and the option one doesn't have a loud enough voice, right? And they leave and their team starts losing and they suck. Now they start to realize. You see it with the New York Knicks, you see it with Oklahoma, you see it with the Hornets. You see with all these teams, So when a superstar does come there and reignites their city, you feel the presence. The organization changes. The front office changes. That's how much power that the superstar has in the NBA. So I definitely agree that the option one should always be catered to. Look what happened to Toronto. Toronto's not a good team. They lost Kawhi. They lost Marc Gasol. They lost Serge Ibaka. They lost Danny Green. They lost all these players, all because of one player decided, hey, I'm going back home. And now Toronto, I don't know when they're going to win another championship. That's how much power that option one has in the NBA. So when Michael Jordan said in the documentary that front office and it's the front office or the the organization that wins championships, that's disrespectful because it's even though at the end of the day the front office people they have the job to assemble the team, it's the players, it's the option one on that basketball team that actually wins the championships. And that's what MJ said in the documentary. He said he felt disrespected by Jerry Krause and all those guys. Because as you can see, he knows. I don't know if you've been paying attention what's happening today with a lot of these promotions and a lot of these big companies. They feel like they're the superstars. The big promotions feel like they're the number one, whereas when fans watch the product, it's always the superstars or the players on that in their respective sports that make the fans watch. They're the superstars, not the front office or the organization. Even though those guys have a job to do, you see it nowadays. The promotions feel like they're the superstar. They feel like they're the number one. They feel like people come to watch them play, even though it's the players, it's the product that draws the viewers. So you see what's happening around the world today. So whereas in the NBA, it's a clear-cut superstar. You see guys like Mark Cuban, an owner. He actually came out and said, "Hey, it's a players' league." If you had more owners like that, I think the product would be better. And I don't think we're getting great NBA product nowadays because a lot of the role players they feel like they have the goal to disrespect an option one. And even though I don't always agree with Charles Barkley, he even said it when a lot of these players come out of high school. They really don't know how to play basketball. And you see it with the court, Nowadays in the NBA, it's not a really great product. Where in the 90s and the 2000s, you got a lot of great product on the floor. So, yeah, that just goes to show you that one superstar can change the whole organization. So that's why I feel like an option one should always be catered to, and the option two should always bend the proverbial knee to the option one. And I learned a new thing from you when you said the option two has a lot to carry because he has to bend the knee to option one and he has to show the role players to do the same. I never looked at it like that, but hearing that, yeah, I can definitely agree with you on that because I remember there was a podcast Kobe was on. I think it was with it was those two former Clippers, Knuckleheads, I think.
Knuckleheads.
Yeah, and who's that ball guy on it? His name is you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the guy that Ramelane Dwayne Wade. You know who it is, Richy Rich. He used to play for the New York Knicks.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's him and Darius Miles, and then there's Richy Rich. You know the guy, man. He bust Dwayne Wade's ass, and then he ended up playing in the Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade. Once I say that, you already know. It should be light bulb in your head.
You said a bald
Yeah,
Yeah,
head
he was
dude?
with Brandy or
knuckleheads.
something. I think he was with Brandy or something like that. Dude, Rambling Dwayne Wade, and found out they both were from Chicago, and he played on the Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade.
You said he was with
Screw that.
Brandy?
Just focus on what I just said about the Heat. He played. He was on the New York Knicks. Then there you go.
Yeah,
You are
Quentin Richardson.
Richardson.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Quentin Richardson.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Trip Winner. Thanks.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
so
go. Go
basically,
ahead, Jacob.
so to get back on point, he even said when he was throwing to Kobe, I never, whenever, because I think he used to play in the Clippers, he said whenever he was in LA, whenever he went partying or clubbing, he never saw him anywhere in LA. And he was like the face of the Lakers. But that goes to show you that Kobe was all about basketball. Hey, I'm playing basketball. Once I'm done, I'm out. You know,
Yeah.
and I think that has to do with it has a lot to do with power, the 48 laws of power, because
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to allow your role players to feel too comfortable with you. So you always want to have that separation to see
Yeah.
to be like, hey guys, on that basketball court, I'm all open. Once I'm not on the floor, I'm gone. So I think that's an example of what you're trying to say when you say the option one. All he has to focus on is on the basketball court, and once he's done, he's out. So yeah, that's how it is. So that's all I got to say. And we've seen. I just think that because of that, nowadays a lot of role players, they're getting good money. They feel like they're better than the option one from the standpoint. And now you have a product, the NBA is, even though there's good teams, just the product sucks, because there's a lot of players that don't know how to play basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's very cringy, where there's no hand checking and the league is soft and all that, it just really it sucks. So I think that goes to show you why a superstar is very important. So yeah, Rich, I'm gonna hand it off to you.
I wanted to say this real quick before Richie Rich go. The reason why option one only needs to focus on the task at hand is because that in of itself is already the heavyweight lifting in of itself. The fact that he's going to have to carry games and the fact that he's going to have to deliver in the clutch. That's heavyweight lifting, situational basketball, momentum swings, the pendulum swing, like Jay-Z always say. The pendulum has swung. That in of itself is heavyweight lifting. The fact that they have to deal with the coach. People don't understand behind the scenes. True alpha extraordinaires governed by true alpha economics. They're sitting there in the film study room with the coach. Kobe Bryant made this famous by showcasing it to everyone. Jordan kind of talked about it, but Kobe made it famous on Kobe doing work. You want to see what a true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics look like on a basketball court? Go watch Kobe doing work, the Spike Lee joint, and watch how him and Phil Jackson are sitting there and they're analyzing teams. That's what option one is supposed to do. Option one don't got time to be dealing with people's personalities. They don't got time for that. I know a lot of people are like, what? LeBron James made that bullshit and fuck shit famous. Because LeBron is not a real leader. So LeBron's like, let me make you friends. Let me buy you watches. Let me build up your personality. Option one ain't got time for all that nonsense. Told the fucking line. I know Jacob Lowe don't like when I say this, but I'm going to restate what I said. Bend the F and knee and kiss the ring while you're at it, like they do with the Pope. See when they come to the Pope, they kiss the ring. That's full submission. You got to submit. Option one ain't got time to be dealing with nonsense. Because let me tell you something. When option one see that there's bullshit and fuck shit going on, you know what they do? They leave your ass. Is submit, oh, I'm leaving you. So when Trips Winner said, I want to see if Kevin Durant's already proven that to you, Trips Winner. Okay, you don't submit, I'm leaving you. Now deal with your own nonsense. Let's see if you are what you say that you are. And you see every time what happens. They fold like a fucking pretzel. It's submit or I'm going to leave you. It's a one-way street. This ain't no two-way street. Don't get this thing twisted. Whoever told you, oh, this is a two-way street. No, it's a one-way street. Bend the F and knee, kiss the damn ring, submit, or I'm out. Go ahead, Richie Rich.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Stephen Curry, he made mistakes in how he handled his time with Kevin Durant. He should have appease them more. Let them know that he was the guy on the team. He definitely should have checked Draymond Green when Draymond got out of pocket and told Kevin Durant that they didn't need him. That moment when they were playing, I believe it was the
Mm-hmm.
Clippers, one of these other teams where the whole sequence was when Kevin Durant was supposed to take the last shot in that game. Draymond Green decided he wanted to be the guy to bring the ball up the court, and he didn't want to pass the ball to Kevin Durant. So, Kevin Durant got mad at him, and they had their exchange. And that's when on the sidelines, when Kerr called the timeout, and Draymond Green got out of line, he got out of pocket, and he made those comments to Kevin Durant that we don't need you. What I'm saying? Why haven't you re-signed over to the team? Because you're leaving in free agency. And he said that we don't need you anyway. We can win a championship without you. And that was far from the truth because they got figured out. When they allowed LeBron James and the Cavs to win that title the year before. They were figured out. Their run was pretty much over at that time because LeBron was able to figure out that Curry was soft. Curry was in a advantageous position where the league they were about to give Curry the keys, man, and Curry it was sky's the limit for Curry, but Curry dropped the ball. That's what Curry does when he's in those clutch situations. The league was going to be given to Curry if all Curry had to do was deliver, win those finals, win that Finals MVP. Because you saw everything opening up for Curry. He was first in All-Star voting that year. He was getting all of the adoration, jubilation, whatever you want to say. That all the kids was buying his jersey. He was number one in jersey sales and everything, man. It was sky's the limit for Curry, man. But in those finals, that man didn't show up, and he allowed LeBron to win his third NBA title and win that first NBA championship for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And they started putting LeBron in another stratosphere after that because he won those guys their first championship. Curry let that happen, but the league, it could have been Curry's. And then we all know what happened after that. Draymond Green, they went and they begged for KD to come join their team. They wanted KD because they know KD's that player, man, that he will definitely put you over the top. KD is so skilled. He's a 50, 40, 90 elite 7-foot player that could put the ball on the floor. It could shoot from anywhere, but not just shoot, man. This guy shoots at an insane. He could just go off, man, at any given moment, and there's nothing you could really do about it. Especially once he gets the ball up, you just gotta hope. You gotta pray that he misses. That
option
him, yeah, he's an option one guy, clear cut guy. You know what I'm saying? And Stephen Curry, he just didn't do enough. There was a moment where Stephen Curry tried to fly to New York to go talk with Durant, but Durant's mind was already made up by then. His mind was probably already made up at a point in that season. But
you
Curry
don't bend
just
the F and E late. You got to bend it right then and there. You don't bend it late.
He didn't do enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he did enough as the guy. I believe Klay Thompson was pretty much, and Steve Kerr, those are the only two guys that really, they were really talking highly about Kevin Durant all throughout the year. But those aren't the guys that Kevin Durant wanted to I'm pretty sure he appreciated what those guys had to say about him, but he really wanted Curry to make the effort to make sure that he was the guy. Maybe Curry thought that Kevin Durant was probably taking away a lot of his shine, but you were given your opportunities, like Eno's mentioned before. I agree with Andre Iguodala won a Finals MVP during the time you were supposed to win this. You get locked up for 4 games out of 6 games in the final series against a guy like Matthew Dellavedova. You know what I'm saying? A guy that comes off a G League material player, and you know what I'm saying, you expect people to think you're the number one guy. It's just Curry has these moments where you look at Curry like he's the type of player, okay, especially now, the situation that he's going through now. If he was supposed to play with some mediocre players, would he be able to carry mediocre guys to a postseason? you can already look into the season and tell that Curry's not going to be able to carry these type of guys to the postseason, man. He's going to Curry could get his numbers. He's a phenomenal shooter. Probably the best shooter in NBA history. But Curry's game doesn't when you look at Curry's game, he doesn't impact the game like that, man. Because first off, he don't play defense. He doesn't play defense. And second of all, he has this it's his whole demeanor on the floor. He doesn't have like this that alpha demeanor where he can he's like a mean street guy. He could make sure guys are in line, like discipline, like get in line, get in gear, man. We got to play on a high level. You know what I'm saying? Curry always got this smile on his face. Like a goody two shoes or something like that. Curry looked like a one of them soft dudes. Oh, I can say it. I'm not trying to go at Curry, but it's just from what I've seen. Like where he made those comments about the players, like where they, as a collective group, they had a low IQ. It looked like Curry still was like joking around. That's the kind of demeanor he had. Like you couldn't tell if he was serious or not. It's like when you look at him, he always got that smirk on his face. And that's not when players look at that, when teammates look at that, they won't take that serious. They won't know that this guy is serious about us, playing at a high level. You know what I'm saying? Even though we're not as good as we think we are, we can still overachieve and get and have success. Curry's not that type of player, man. But that's what happens when you don't do enough to attain a talent like Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? Because Curry would have had it good. He would have been, finishing out his final years playing with Kevin Durant. They would have been contending for championships. But now, they lost Clay. I'm pretty sure their season would have looked a lot better with Clay there, but they wouldn't have been a contender. But they probably would have had a better showing in these first two games. These first two games are pretty much gave us a hint of what's going to transpire throughout the whole season, man. These guys are just going to have games where you're like, man, these guys don't look like the same team. They don't have the same identity they used to because it's just Curry, Draymond Green, he's still out trying to come back from injury. Clay's out. We don't know if he's going to be the same Clay. Kerr, it looks like he can't coach young players. He can't coach these guys. He's being exposed because these guys, they don't look like they're developed. Man, some of these guys don't look like they're developed. Kerr could coach the ready-made thing, but he can't coach the when guys need to be developed. So Kerr is kind of getting exposed and the light right now. And Curry, he can't
Great
elevate. He can't elevate mediocre players. He can't get these guys in line. So Curry, he's the type of player. It's what he has around him. He had Kevin Durant, man. You have a player like that around you. You got to do whatever it takes. You got to do whatever it takes to make sure a guy like that remains around you, man. So you could stay on top. You could say it like that. I don't think Kevin Durant wanted him to like kiss shoes or do stuff like that. But he just wanted.
Kevin Durant's personality is more docile than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant will tell you to your face, bend the effing knee. They'll slap you, right?
Yeah.
But Kevin Durant is docile with it. When you see Kevin Durant leave your situation, that's a slick way of telling you bend the effing knee. And remember, Kevin Durant wasn't going to sign on the dotted line until he heard from you. Y'all forget this. He didn't sign on the dotted line until he said, I have to hear from Stephen Curry. And then he said, go listen to Kevin Durant's speech. He said when Stephen Curry came out of his mouth and said, this will be your team, that's when he signed on the dotted line. So that's a guy that in a very docile way, he wants you to bend the effing knee.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Katie, like he's a more chill guy, but I'm pretty sure he wanted Curry to be more vocal, man. Like speak up in that last year of his contract, where he was able to opt out. Pretty much back him up. Especially with the whole Draymond Green situation. I kind of look at a Curry situation with Draymond Green. It was probably admirable because he was the guy that's always been playing with you, man. But you got to know when a dude is in the wrong. And you got to know, okay, a talent like Kevin Durant. Listen, we wouldn't be in this situation if this guy didn't choose our team. These guys were out there sweeping the Cleveland Cavaliers. They went 16-1 that first in 2017. And they lost that game because it was to the Cavs because that game looked like it was so high rigged that they didn't want the Cavs to get swept. The Cavs would have got swept 2 years back to back if it wasn't for that that sketchy officiating in Game 4, I believe, because the Warriors went up 3-0 after Kevin Durant hit that dagger shot in LeBron's eye in 2017. But Game 4, we could kindly tell that game was officiated kind of sketchy. They didn't want the Cavs to get swept. They didn't want LeBron to get swept, especially being with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. He had his own super team right there, and you getting swept by these boys. It didn't. That right there. Then people were like, "How's LeBron getting destroyed like this by this team when he has Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love on the floor?" You know, it didn't line up to me. It was just that, you know, Kevin Durant, he presents that type of that advantage. When he's out there, man, dudes are scared, man. They're like, man, how are we gonna stop this mother effer? Because that Kevin Durant is unguardable, man. It's just, you know, even with this guy's Achilles heel injury, this guy looked like he hasn't missed a beat, man. It's just ridiculous. Like, that's what he does, man. You know, he makes it like he opens a lot more things for other guys because you're so worried about him on the floor. This is why Kyrie's gonna love playing with this guy because Kyrie's gonna have a lot of one-on-one opportunities, and we all know when Kyrie's in one-on-one, man, he is gonna dominate. This is why Kevin Durant don't even care if Kyrie is the leading scorer right now. He don't even care because he knows he's gonna get his. But he knows Kyrie
Richy, you on it today, though. Yeah. You on it today.
Yeah.
Jacob,
I mean, he knows
what he just did. Jacob was an all-spark. He started that's why I like when Jacob go before you, because he's an all-spark. You just right now you dropping napalms, dog. I ain't mean to cut, but damn, dog, keep going, man. That's what a lot of people don't understand what's about to happen to this. KD gonna take the regular season off and let Kyrie go the hell off. Go ahead, man.
He's gonna let Kyrie do his thing, man, because he knows Kyrie is a bad boy too. And when Kyrie's being guarded one-on-one, man, Kyrie is a tough cover, man, for anybody. Sure. When he's in one-on-one situation, because he's an ambidextrous point guard that could finish at a high rate. That is a nightmare point guard to have to deal with in the NBA. And he can shoot too. He has range on his shot. He's a nightmare, and he has the best handles in the game. That's a nightmare.
And what did you have told me years ago about Kyrie and his change of directions? That dude, boy, the razzling dazzling, the way he changed directions in between. That dude is lethal, though.
He's lethal, man. The Kyrie's a lethal player. So I mean, and the roster that they got two big men that can rebound and block shots at a high rate, and Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan. That makes things even more scary. And they got a pick and roll alley-oop chemistry going down with those guys. That's going to be a scary team for everybody to face in the NBA. I don't care if it's the Lakers, the Clippers. People are not going to want to face this team on a night-and-night basis because you got two lethal guys and they got two big men that could clean up everything for them, give them second chance opportunities. That's a nightmare team to have to go up against. But yeah, man, Stephen Curry, man, he should have did more to keep Kevin Durant appeased and happy over there. And he definitely should have took his side when that whole Draymond Green situation blew up. You know, Steve Kerr took KD's side, and you know he kind of said some things about Draymond, but I don't think that was enough. He wanted more people to say have a matter on that situation, but they didn't, man. And he just had to leave. You know, he had to go. And this situation, man, it looks like the grass is looking greener so far on the other side. But obviously, winning a championship with Brooklyn is going to give KD vindication. That's what I believe. That's his ultimate goal. He wants to win a title with the Brooklyn Nets, and that's what's going to bring vindication in this whole situation. And after he wins the title, he might not even say anything to Draymond Green. He might just be humble. But we all know Draymond's gonna be burning inside because of what he said, and he's gonna want to take back things, but it's already gonna be too late.
Mm-hmm. Man,
you lost the player, Kevin Durant.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we segue into the second topic, and we're gonna have Jacob Lone Wolf start it off. The Michael Jordan, the Scottie Pippen school of thought, man. We have to talk about this because we have to educate basketball fans on this shit. There's two schools of thoughts. There's the Michael Jordan school of thought, and then there's the Scottie Pippen school of thought. Jacob Lone Wolf, I want your iteration, your interpretation on what that looks like for you as a person who prescribes to the game of basketball, and that's a basketball connoisseur, and that's a basketball purist.
You guys, what's up? How you doing? Hey,
in my opinion,
I think it is. I think it was Richy that did something, but he muted himself. You good?
Yeah. So I think the Michael Jordan school of thought is like, is domination. He knows, what he brings to the table. He knows he's the clear-cut alpha extraordinaire. He's the superstar of the team, and all he's thinking about is winning. All he's thinking about is winning. A championship and just dominating and being the best. On that court. And like you said before. When we were talking about option one, option two. You said that option one. They have like a big responsibility when it comes to like winning and delivering the goods, and they don't have time to deal with the shenanigans and the politics, when it comes to the team, I think that's option two's job because, option two doesn't have to do that heavyweight lifting. That's with Scottie Pippen, and, when you saw in The Last Dance, MJ was very ferocious, when it came to practice and, when dealing with his teammates, most of the times, he was an asshole, and Scottie was like that mediator from his school thought where, he knew that MJ was the number one option, and he showed the other guys, you have to do the same thing. But Scottie was more of a laid back personality to where, I would say he was more of a leader in terms of like being with the guys and actually showing them how to deal with an MJ and stuff like that. Because MJ would go hard at Scottie in practice. So when MJ went hard at Scottie and Scottie, stood his ground and took it, it allowed the other guys for them to deal with Michael Jordan easily because all they knew, it wasn't personal. It was just that, he wanted to win and he wanted everyone to be on the same page, And this isn't just in basketball. This is in every corporation, every big business. You always have the top dog. You always have the big dog. And I think sometimes we get it confused. Where everything should be egalitarian. Everything should be equal. But at the end of the day, people we're all different. There's just certain people that are just better than us, and we have to accept it. And we have to respect their ability because it doesn't come too often. It's like the Michael Jordan school of thought. His talent is like so. The Michael Jordan school of thought is just domination, winning at all costs. I don't care how I'm going to win. I'm going to take your heart out and I'm going to chew it. I'm going to spit it back at you.
Hey.
And we don't have those type of men anymore in the NBA. We don't have those type of men that will rip your heart out and eat and spit it back at you and say, fuck you, take that to the grave.
There you go.
I'm dominating you,
Yes.
We don't have those type of players anymore, and I think that's what the fans miss. They miss that ferocious, warlike, battle. Because that's what we as men do. We thrive in those type of moments. We like seeing when players get into fights, and unfortunately I didn't get to see the 90s basketball, when you had the bad boy Pistons, and we don't give a lot of Pistons respect. I know people sometimes shit on the bad boy Pistons, but I'm pretty sure he knows when you were watching during that time, it was fun to watch basketball. It was fun to watch the bad boy Pistons go up against the Lakers, the Celtics, and all those bad boys, And as once the NBA went soft, and now, like, look at the league right now. You have players like LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball, he's the same age as me. He's trash,
There you go. Smoking fucking mirrors, though.
I know, like players like a LaMelo Ball. You have these type of players like what do you call they have like they look a certain way. They look different from players in the '90s. Like players in the '90s actually look like men. Now you're seeing the NBA product. Like they look like clear cut boys. They don't even look like men. They look like one of those like clout chasing. Those type of guys that
Rico
you have so
Suave.
much. Yeah, go ahead.
You can't never trust a Rico Suave though.
Yeah. Like these they have different type of hairstyles and whatnot. It's just weird, So yeah, like the NBA product nowadays sucks because everyone feels like they can be a superstar, and it's not the case, And you have fake option ones masquerading as fake option ones, I mean, you have fake people masquerading as option ones, and this is what we get as fans. We're subjugated to these players, We're subjugated to a lousy product. I don't really see when people say the players are more skilled, yes, but really from a team standpoint, man, I can't even watch a full game, That's just how boring it is. We don't have back in the 90s, you had so much personality. You didn't just have a great product, you had so much personality. You had the mailman and Karl Malone. You had Charles Barkley, you had Michael Jordan, you had Scottie Pippen, you had Clyde Drexler, you had the Bad Boy Pistons, you had Bird, Magic, you had all these type of players that were influential, and they gave a great product every time when they're out on the court. Now we've given these type of players who aren't option ones who don't have like the goal and they don't have the ability to carry the NBA, as far as rating wise. And we see how the ratings have gone to shreds, I think on Christmas Day, like they said the NBA did the lowest rating, like the ratings were lower. And obviously there's politics involved, but this is a LeBron James run league. We've seen what it does, Like the finals only had 5 million, it only averaged like 5 million viewership. Michael Jordan, the highest viewership in NBA history was that Game 6 with the Chicago Bulls versus the Utah Jazz. That had 36 million viewers all around the world. That was when Michael Jordan ran the league. And that's why when they say MJ made the league global, he did. Not only when MJ played, the views were higher. Now you have a LeBron James, who's basically telling fans, I don't care how you think, I'm making all these millions of dollars. I want to talk about politics. I'm going to alienate you. And we've seen what he's done to the product now. People are not watching the NBA, you know?
And let's talk about Kobe Bryant, Jacob. See, this is where they disrespect Kobe. Kobe's numbers were dwarfing LeBron's bullshit right now.
Yeah, absolutely,
I just want to say that real quick. My bad.
No, it's all right, man. Chime in. But 90s, even 2000s had a great product. Specifically the Lakers and the Spurs dominated the 2000s, You had a great product. And I never quite seem to wonder why. They never really talk about it like that Lakers, that Celtics Game 7 in 2010. Like that was some of the greatest series that I ever saw. But they never really talk about the mainstream media. They talk about the Heat versus Spurs Game 7 or that seven game series. That Lakers Celtics rivalry was beast, man. Like that show was entertaining. Like I always look back in that series from 2008 to 2010. That was some of the greatest finals run when you had a Kobe Bryant led team against the Paul Pierce led teams and the Kevin Garnett's, the Ray Allens. I think that was the best time in the NBA. But the media, they never really cover it. They always have to cover LeBron James finals. I'm telling you, man, LeBron James finals, man, it's probably some of the most boring finals I've ever seen, because it's not entertaining. I've always been entertained by Kobe Bryant and Kevin Durant's finals, They never cover it. So the 2000s, they produced some great basketball. You had the Pistons, you had the Spurs, you had the Lakers, you had that 08 Celtics team. It's just a great product. It wasn't the 90s, but it damn sure was close to it, And nowadays, I don't. If Adam Silver doesn't do something, I feel like because David Stern, even though he was a tough commissioner, he didn't give these players free roam to do whatever the hell they want.
There you go.
He didn't let the prisoners What's that saying? The
Prisoners
prisoners
of the
are
moment.
running. No. They're running the asylum or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Arkham Asylum.
No. It's that saying the prisoners are running the asylum or something like that.
Oh,
So
running
they're pretty
amok.
much
When you let the prisoners take over the prison.
yeah, something like
Okay.
that. Yeah. Now, even though it's great, don't get me wrong, from a player's perspective, obviously they have leverage. That's great for the players. But at the end of the day, it's counterproductive because now they're not gonna want to give a great product on the floor because they're taken care of and they have all the leverage. So Adam Silver, he needs to put his foot on some of these players' necks so he can give the fans, the ones that are actually pouring money into the NBA, a great product. And actually develop these players and not always take players out of high school and actually develop these players and to give a great product on the floor. And I like that. That's why I like what Giannis did. He stayed with Milwaukee, and hopefully they build a team around him and they build these small market teams. So it's no longer the days that the large market teams are the ones that are winning. You actually give them a chance to the small market teams. So I think Adam Silver needs to do a good job. A LaMelo Ball. Do you reckon they would have drafted a LaMelo Ball in the 90s or in the 80s or 2000s? Those type of players, no.
That dude would be cleaning fucking towels, man. He'd be serving Gatorade.
Absolutely.
That's why I say smoking mirrors, though.
A dude like that, man. I'm when people say like he's talented, don't get me wrong. He has skills like passing wise, he's good. But he's like, when I see it, it's like I'm like, is this what the NBA has resorted to now? Drafting guys
this
like
is the
that.
thing, Jacob. You see, when you even say what you say about he got skills, they warp your brain so much they want even the very elect. The good book tells us, man, that in the last days, even the very elect shall be deceived. Though they want you to even say it out of your own mouth that he got skills, because if you say that, it's kind of like you giving him credit, even though you're not. So the way that you got to deal with it is you got to shoot it down all the way together. See, that's why I said to me, he would be serving Gatorade. He'd be shining my fucking shoes. If I was an NBA superstar, LaMelo, I eat it and murk them already. I didn't even need to go long on them. He's smoking fucking mirrors, man. His dad is the best word of mouther since he knows the sport, dog. I got to give him credit. That motherfucker know how to talk. And if I had the capital he had, shit, I'd be right there on his level, probably even fucking higher, because he got capital behind him. That motherfucker know how to run his mouth. He know how to build his brand up, and I got to give him credit for that. But that's it. That's where the buck stops. All of his sons are smoke and fucking mirrors. See, the media ain't never gonna work my brand. I'm never gonna say LaMelo got skills. Look at his first game. What happened to all of them 30+ 20-point games in the preseason? Nobody was playing. What happened in his first game? He had 13 fucking points. Because you know why? The chickens are coming to fucking roots on this guy. He would be shining somebody's shoes, or he'd be serving Gatorade. Go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, no, because when I say he's like passing ability, like he can actually pass.
Don't even fall for that. That's what the media want. I'm telling you, the media want you to even say that. They slick. What's happening with you is the same thing that happened with Richy Rich. Richy Rich behind the scenes say, "Yeah, you was right, bro. You right, big bro. I shouldn't have done that with Draymond Green." They want to drop filters in your brain to make you sound as if this is good. You got to shoot it all down. See, every time the media does something, I don't know what it is about me. I just shoot everything they say. You see, even North Carolina media, like, it's true. I'm telling you, it's true. I'm telling you, bro. You got to shoot everything down. If they tell you LaMelo got skills, you know what you tell them? Okay, it's LBJ Riders Media, so that means he garbage. So you need to be saying garbage out of your mouth. Everything they say, you got to say the opposite. Because the second you accept, you know what ends up happening? It's the term you love. Neuro-linguistic programming has taken effect. Now they're working on your brain right now. You don't realize it. It's slick, but that's how they roll. You got to shoot everything down, bro. Every fucking thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and I'm actually reading that book right now. I'm going to start that book today. Neuro-linguistic programming. Yes, I'm learning a lot about neuroscience and all that. But
Yep.
okay, he's trash. Like
There you go.
I just wanted to give a little credit just to say, but I
They
see what you're
still
saying.
working, They still working
No.
on that. See, I want to give him a little credit. You can't give him none. You can't give him none. He's smoke and mirrors. None.
Okay. All right.
He's
Like
trash.
he's trash. Okay. He's trash. Like when I watch a LaMelo Ball play, this guy, man, like back in the days, he would be carrying Michael Jordan's. He couldn't even carry Michael Jordan's jockstrap. He would be carrying his bags. He would be the 15th man on the team, that would be carrying everybody's bags. And now you have this guy that's drafted number 2. Come on, if that's where the league is going, I think the NBA, man, they better come up with a different basketball league that can compete with the NBA, man, and actually develop and actually have great products. Like in every other business, because at the end of the day, the NBA is the only game in town. They need to start developing another league to compete with NBA and actually give a better product, and to not give freeway to these mediocre, average players to be able to come into the league, and be drafted at number 2 because their dad has clout and he's a great clout chaser in LeVar Ball, who's a great salesman and who basically sold his league into the NBA. Lonzo's trash too. Let's be honest, Lonzo's trash. This guy, man, he's trash. And I like
horse fucking manure.
He had terrible form. The league, he should have never been in the NBA. Let's just keep it real. I'm not hating because he knows his sports getting on me now because he thinks I'm being too nice. Now I have to murk Lonzo as well, and I don't want to do it. But he's trash, Him that's you saw with LiAngelo. I'm sorry, but LiAngelo, you really don't belong in the league. He's not really talented. We have to be honest here, because back then you actually had great product on the floor. You actually had great players. You actually had men in the NBA. Now you're drafting boys. I mean, when you look at these players, their bodies are not developed. When you look at it, it's not an NBA body that can last 82 games. So that's why I'm saying, Michael Jordan's school of thought, I think we went off topic. It's all about clear-cut domination. I'm going to win at all costs.
Believe it or not, Jacob, you was on topic the whole time. They just not catching up with your bars. You dropping bars right now. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So Michael Jordan's school of thought is like clear-cut domination, win at all costs. It's all about championships. I ain't got time to play. I'm focused on my legacy, focused on winning championships, focused on being the best ever. Scottie Pippen's school of thought is like, okay, MJ, I'm right up there with you. I know I'm not as talented as you, but I'm up there as far as we can play off each other. But also, I'm going to be that leader to the role players, so then they could follow behind me and do what I'm doing to what I'm doing to you. So they can be in line and I can define their roles as well. So Scottie Pippen's school of thought is like he bends the knee to MJ, but he also leads the role players the way, and he's the one that spends time with them, goes out with them, tries to make that team chemistry and tries to get guys on the same page. Where MJ, his role is to win championships and deliver the goods. That's all I got.
Let me explain option 1, option 2. When I explain it in a family basis, y'all gonna catch it. Option 1 is the dad of the house. Option 2 is the mom. You see, the mom got all the burden to do all the stuff with the kids. The dad got to go out there and make it happen. I just wanted to give you that perfect simile so you understand what option 1 and option 2 is. That's what it is. You, as option 2, got to do everything when it comes to that kind of stuff. Option 1 got to go in there and provide and got to make sure everything's good financially, got to make sure everybody got what they need. But they can't be there if they're doing that. You see what I'm saying? And that's what people got to understand. You see, and I'm glad Lewis brought that up, dog. It's not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear, dog. I'm glad you said that, Lewis, dog. That's a famous Hkhs Sport original term, dog. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear, dog. A lot of YouTubers, Lewis is a good one, man. That brother's been exactly who he's been from day one. That's why I always respect him. Jacob Lone Wolf, hellified YouTuber. Always respect them. Been the same from day one. Y'all seen in this calendar month, I eat and murk everybody, man. Possible. I shot down because I wanted you to know, Lewis. I wanted you to know, Jacob. I wanted everybody to know that when it comes to this basketball shit, we running this shit, though. Like Jay-Z said. Like Jay-Z said, though. You know, when he talked about takeover, CMB, we running this shit, though. And we running this shit, man. Because a lot of these YouTubers, they straddle the fence, man. They talk too sideways out of their ass. You cannot be a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant fan, and be a LeBron fan. That just don't go. It's like oil and water. Shit don't fucking mix, man. That's fence straddleization to the highest levels. Because people that rock with MJ and Kobe school of thought, they can't stand LeBron school of thought. Because it's the opposite, man. It's a conundrum. The pendulum ain't swinging. LeBron is everything wrong. You want to know why the NBA is into the shit that it's in, and then Richy Rich gets the floor? It's because LeBron James, they didn't know when to move away from LeBron being supposedly best. You know, LeBron only had a 2-year run at best player in the NBA. They lied to you guys. They made you think LeBron was the best player for over a decade. I'm going to tell you the 2 years LeBron James was the best player. And y'all going to be like, what? LeBron James was the best player in 2020, the 2011, 2012, and the 2012, 2013. You know why? Because he won those finals and the finals MVPs. That's it. Kobe was the best player all the way up until 2011 when he got swept by the Dallas Mavericks. And I could argue that shit out with any fucking body. And then after that, you had inklings of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving and Kawhi Leonard and all of these other guys. This is what the NBA don't want to tell you. The NBA didn't give Kevin Durant they just do. They should have been gave Kevin Durant best player when he bust LeBron James' ass from the first NBA Finals. That's where the NBA fans say, okay, you know what? This product is not shit. F it. We're leaving it alone. That's when they went away from it because they knew it wasn't organic. That you're trying to tell us after this guy dropped a 35 crooked little eye and this guy shot, embarrassed him. Even Draymond, and that's why I love it, man, because snakes have to tell the truth, dog. The good book tells us this, man. Even a snake has to tell the truth, dog. I don't care even if you're the fathers of all lies, you have to tell the truth. Because the truth is like a two-edged sword, piercing the dividing asunder of the soul and the spirit, even unto the joints and the marrows. And what did Draymond say after he did Kevin Durant the way he did him? He said Kevin was giving it to LeBron those 2 years. The fact that they didn't say that Kevin Durant was the best player, why do you think people left the product? They left the product because the product wasn't even being authentic. And this is where David Stern is different from Adam Silver. Because once David Stern sees that one player usurps another, he gives the reins to the next player. That's what made David Stern so smart. If David Stern would have saw that Kevin Durant did what he did, he would have told Adam Silver, hey, man, the fuck you doing, man? This is Kevin Durant's time now. LeBron got to kick fucking rocks. And then they would have had it, which if you're being smart, the NBA should have had it Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard era. That's what an era should be. It's like I got to teach these people how to run their fucking business. This is the era we're in right now. It should be Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard. We shouldn't be fucking talking about LeBron James. He should be an afterthought. Because remember, when Kobe started to, his skills started to go down, they wanted to start telling he was the 40th best player. Remember that shit, Richy Rich? He was the 120. They started doing that. Why are they not doing that to Kobe? And then Zion Williamson showed up. You remember when LeBron showed up? They was like, LeBron? And my boy Ben Castro always said, exit LeBron, enter Zion, bars, right? I like when he say that shit. That's one of the good things that come out of his mouth. He said that shit, and when he said it, it made sense. They should have been talking about Zion too. See, this is the problem with the LBJ Riders media. They fucked up on so many levels. They didn't know how to get rid of this LeBron guy. And they're holding on to him. And now, like Donald Trump said, and he was true when he said that, he said, who the hell want to watch basketball? It's too political right now. I don't watch basketball. And see, when that woman said shut up and dribble, a lot of people, that shit went over a lot of people's fucking heads. Because a lot of people get so caught up in symbolism. I done told you this shit right now, man. I could preach this shit. This is what's killing a lot of black people, man. Even those that are so-called true alpha extraordinaires governed by true alpha economics. They get caught up in fucking symbolism. Oh, because he said shut up and fucking dribble. Are you fucking kidding me? She was right. I didn't have no problem with her saying that. And I would tell LeBron to his fucking face too. Shut up and fucking dribble. I'm not trying to listen to you from civil rights. I listen to Malcolm X for that shit. I want you to shut up and fucking dribble. Play basketball, man. That's what you are. You're a basketball player. People don't tell people the truth no more. It's like the truth is allergic. That's why I'm a rarity and I'm unique, man. Because everywhere I go, Richy Rich will tell you. Richy Rich will tell you this story, man. When I was at this job, dog, I took him over to my job, and my superior was acting out of line. Jacob Long, the way that I am on YouTube, I'm like this 24/7, bro. Believe it or not, I'm always checking somebody like UPS, quick, fast, and hurry, because you always got to check people. Because you always got to demand your respect in life. Richy Rich will testify to you guys. This dude was like a way high level branch manager, and I checked him in front of everybody. I had everybody's jaw dropping. Cause I was like, what are you talking about, man? You talking too sideways. That's when that term came famous for me. I say you talking too sideways out of your ass right now. You just told me to do one thing, and now you telling me what is it? Is this? Do I look like Boo Boo the Fool? Is this Tweedledee or Tweedledum in my face? Did I not say this shit, Richard? And I had everybody like, what the? Because when you in the right, you can challenge motherfuckers, man. That's what people don't understand. You got to challenge people. And me, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the truth just make me seem unique, but I'm always going to reside in the truth because I always learned this concept from day one. When you on the realm of truth, you always in the right side of history, and the truth will always have its day. So you always going to be in the right lineage. It is what it is, man. And those who are more truth tellers, Anthony L can tell you this because he carried his Bible too. Those who are more truth tellers, they got a more of a cross to carry, man. There's more of a heavy as the head of those who wear the crown, man. There's more that they got to deal with. So why the hell am I going to listen to LeBron James when I know LeBron James is not Malcolm X, man? I'm sorry, man. Y'all want to listen to civil rights? Y'all want to listen to somebody? And Jacob, as we going through our alpha molding, that's going to be I'm not giving you Malcolm X yet, but you're going to get him. I don't know when you're ready mentally for that. I'm going to throw him your way. And I know once you start matching up mentally and I throw him your way, it's going to all connect. Because everything that I do is with timing with people. Because Malcolm X is the guy you want to listen to, man. You know why I always say Malcolm X over Martin Luther King? I'm going to educate you guys on something. Martin Luther King, the FBI found Martin Luther King not even being 100%. This motherfucker was fucking white chicks. But yeah, he a civil rights leader. Y'all ain't know that shit? But they was on Malcolm X's ass, and Malcolm X was 100% through and through. Malcolm X was a saint through and through. They said Malcolm X didn't do nothing wrong. That's why I go. See, if I'm going to pick somebody, I got to pick somebody that's line upon line and precept upon precept through and through. Once Malcolm X converted over his lascivious ways, and y'all research that word. That's just old school. That's like saying malarkey. It's old language for saying lustful ways. Once he got rid of that, he became a saint, man, through and through. That's why the Nation of Islam and freaking Elijah Muhammad and them, they couldn't stand Malcolm X because Malcolm X was exactly what you represent, the embodiment of what is called conversion. He was as close to a saint as you could possibly get on this planet. There's a few of them now. Mother Teresa was one of them. That's why Mother Teresa, when she speaks, you listen to her because she's line upon line, precept upon precept, through and through. But Martin Luther King, too sideways out of his fucking ass. He didn't match up. When he was saying one thing, he was doing another. And the FBI was having a field day and saying, man, if we put this shit out there, he's going to be a laughing fucking stock. Which, it was taboo at that time because, a lot of blind people, black people, that's what I call it. They go hand in hand together, but don't get his shit twisted. A lot of black people are blind as fuck. And that's a whole nother conversation in and of itself. They didn't want to hear that shit. It was taboo at the time. But now Malcolm X. So we're going to hold that standard of what Malcolm X was, and then try to say LeBron James on that, man, I don't want to hear that bullshit and that fuck shit. I want to hear it. Exactly, Evan Duncan. He dropped those Detroit red ways, but he made the full conversion. This is what conversion is at its truest and its most proper levels. And Malcolm X realized, and this is what I like about Malcolm X. He realized he inept ways because the Nation of Islam was brainwashing him into thinking that everybody's bad but black people. And that's not true. Because if you serve a God that you serve, then you're supposed to love every fucking body, regardless of their fucking race. And when he went to Mecca, he realized that shit that they was teaching him was brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo head shit. And then he said, you know what? F them. I'm on a higher plane now. This is what wisdom is all about. Always evolving your fucking brain and enhancing your mind, not being caught up in your nonsense. You know, there's a lot of motherfuckers that want to come to the school he knows and want to know how to build their YouTube channels or whatever. If you keep getting your YouTube channel suspended every few months, then you're not learning from he knows. Look at Jacob Longwood. He's doing great things. Lewis Sport Network, great fucking things. Because they take it, a lot of the things that they see me doing, they do it in their own way, but they also understanding YouTube, you actually work for YouTube. Then what a lot of people don't understand. When you're a content creator, you're not your own boss until you have your own shit. Like HeKnowsTheSport.com, that's my shit. So when I curse, I put my emojis, or I do whatever, nobody can tell me I don't give a flying fuck. You can't tell me what to do on my shit. But on Google, I have to follow Google's parameters. I got to follow their community guidelines. This is what a lot of people don't get. And that's why they get their channel suspended every few months. And then they wondering, oh, well, I still got to be who the fuck I am. But when you go to your 9 to 5, are you like that? You see the hypocrisy with people? When you go to your 9 to 5, are you 100% like that? Because you know if you don't, you ain't going to get your check. You towing the fucking line there. This is the hypocrisy with people. You towing the fucking line at your 9 to 5. But then you want to come out here and say, well, whatever, you know, on Google, I got to say, I'm done dealing with people, man, teaching people shit. Because if you ain't getting it, I done told you, when a true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics, they're there for a season for a reason. And if you don't get the blessings they're giving you for a season, they out. Then now it become like this. Richy tell you motherfuckers, if you see me dealing with somebody, you better enjoy that shit. You better savor that. Because I don't deal with nobody. I actually like being in my own head. The missus will tell you that shit. Richy, I love being in my own head. Because when you are an alpha at the highest levels, you love yourself above everybody else. That's what Floyd Mayweather said. Self-preservation is the law of the land. I love being by myself. Why do you think a lot of females always be doing guys up? Females know how to be by themselves. They don't need your fucking company. To them, your company is like a added thing. They don't really fucking need it. They could be right there at home eating fucking popcorn. They love their fucking own company. That's me too. I love my own fucking company. So if I invite you into my company, you better savor that shit, because I go right back to my own fucking company. It's really that simple for me. Really that fucking simple. Because that's where I'm at my best, being by my own. That's what a lot of motherfuckers don't get. But a lot of people on this planet are not like that. They always need somebody. They always need somebody. Well, this is LeBron James. He is exactly the embodiment of the love participation award era. Always need somebody. Always need somebody. Now, I'm sorry, Richy Rich and Jacob Longwood, but the preacher and the teacher came out of me. I had to preach and teach for a second. Because I'm tired of this bullshit and this fuck shit, man. This is what we dealing with. And you wonder why the NBA is to the shit that it is. And you got a whole bunch of these YouTubers that are thrashed the whole month of December. Y'all gonna remember this month of December as one of the greatest months He Knows the Sport ever had. Because YouTubers that people were afraid of, I'm laughing my ass off, afraid of these motherfuckers. Who the fuck are you? Don't you know I'm on a higher plane than you from an intellectual standpoint? I'm smarter than you. I run circles around you. I'm gonna tell you a confession to all you motherfuckers. The greatest debate feats that I had was going up against Richy Rich and my brother Big Dave. I knew when we had those feats, and that shit wasn't even televised. You know, like they said, a revolution is not televised. I knew when I had those feats with them, when I came on you, none of y'all motherfuckers were seeing me. I already knew it because I already had the greatest feats. It's like Michael Jordan when he said, when I played against my brother Larry Jordan, I knew I was the greatest then because I was dealing with him. I already knew I had the greatest feats already. So when I came on, everything was easy. Then we happened to find the Jacob Lone Wolves of the world. Then we happened to find but before y'all came about, we dealt with a lot of motherfuckers that it was easy for me to mash them. Easy. Name a YouTuber that he knows the sport ain't influenced, dog. And name a YouTuber that he knows the sport ain't got on their fucking nerves. You got motherfuckers Ja Rule crying for 20 minutes, ranting. He was a good dude, and I respect it. No, it sounds like you crying on fucking YouTube because you realize you got out of place, you got fucking checked, and now you feeling some type of way about it. And even people in the comment section, this is when you know you a real one, dog. Y'all need to go check that video out. He knows sport, you a hole in the clutch. People in the comment section saying, dog, don't be talking about he knows it's a real one, man. Why you coming after a real one, dog? They ain't even telling them that. That's when you know you real. Because real recognize real, man. That's why I keep telling y'all. Y'all don't be sitting here and don't sugarcoat nothing. All of these people you think, I done told you, Lewis Sports Network, I'm going to tell you this right now. You are 1,000% better than RB I don't give a flying fuck through. I done told you this so many times. I listen to this motherfucker for 5 seconds, I lose brain cells. Because he talked too sideways out of his ass. But when I listen to you, Lewis, you are a walking encyclopedia. So don't ever defer to that motherfucker. You better than him. He ain't shit. He's about the sign of my ass crack. You see how Ethan and murked his ass in one video. I Jay-Z 50 cents his ass. I'm about $1. What the fuck I need with 50 cents, bro? It was one video and it was done with his ass. Came on my Twitter, going back and forth with, who the fuck are you? I don't give a flying fuck who you are. If I'm sending a comment to somebody else and then you come on my shit, you want to start rambling, I'm gonna kill you too. You know me, I'm always in kill mode. And then you got Fire Marshal Bill, don't know how to put out a fucking fire, always creating fucking smoke. And y'all eating this shit up. Dude looking like he's about to have a heart attack. The loudest person in the room is usually the most insecure. See, I'm saying all of this to tell you guys, we are the elites of the elites. We are the free thinkers, man, when it comes to basketball, because we tell people exactly what the fuck they need to hear. We're not telling people shit because it sounds cute. When you hear Jacob Lone Wolf talk, Jacob Lone Wolf is a literal, this is his new nickname. He's a literal 5 bars. Everything come out this man's mouth is bars. I can listen to this guy forever. And that's high coming from me. Richy Rich is a walking Nas. I already done told him that. Walking napalm. Everything come out of his mouth, ether. These are the people you need to be listening to when it comes to basketball. Lewis Sports Network can teach you the history of the game of basketball. That's what you need to listen to. You want to know about everything that has to do with the nuances and the aspects of the game. Listen to Lewis, man. And you guys want truth at the highest levels, and you want to feel, you want to hear what you don't want to hear what you want to hear, but you want to hear what when you need to hear. You know you got to check out your boy. He knows the sport. Because I'm not here to make friends with your ass. I'm here to tell you what you need to fucking hear. And right now we got a lot of Dub Nation fans mad at me because I'm getting on Stephen Curry. Y'all don't get it. Leave me in the comment. Jacob, they don't understand it. The more they comment, the more videos I'm dropping on. The best thing you do with me, shut up. Just shut the hell up. Then I'll forget the topic is there. But you keep dropping in the comment, I'm gonna keep dropping videos. You better tell them North Carolina music. You keep dropping, I'm gonna keep dropping. That's how I work. That's how my mind is. Because somebody's gonna have to bend the knee. It ain't gonna be me. Now, to get back to what we was talking about here, when you think of school of thoughts between Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, that's the only two school thoughts of basketball in terms of option 1 and option 2. Everybody else just got to kiss ass, man. That's it. Michael Jordan's leadership is what it is. It's leadership because it's hard lining. Leadership is not cute. You guys want to know leadership at the highest levels? Jacob was reading up on that book the other day when he was telling me. Go look at cavemen, man, and how the cavemen operate. They are so doggy dog with leadership. You want to learn leadership? Research on cavemen, man. That's leadership at the highest level. I give you guys this reference, the movie Alpha. Watch that movie. That's leadership at its highest levels. Leadership's not cute. There's nothing cute about it. And anybody that told you that, they lying to you. See, this is why LeBron James needs to be completely filtered out of fucking basketball. Because LeBron James has made a lot of people believe that being subpar is leadership. Y'all ain't catch what I said, man. I'm dropping too many gems and jewels for y'all. Y'all done thought that being subpar is leadership. This is where why do you think LaMelo came about? It's because of LeBron. He's a sublet of LeBron. Y'all don't get it? All of these people that's showing up is because of LeBron James. And you got motherfuckers that's sitting here giving LeBron James. I got on everybody. And even if you was a real one, a super real one, and an ultimate real one out here in these basketball streets, I got on your ass too. Anyone that gave LeBron James credit, I already knew. When you do that, you indirectly give credence to a Mickey Mouse title, a least path of resistance title, a fraudulent, fluky, on the spot NBA title, an NBA pickup game. Why would you give credit to that? Don't make no sense, man. That's why I shot that thing down every second. Now we're in a real NBA title. You're gonna see how the Lakers fold like a pretzel when the LAR way don't get no breaks. You're gonna see what I was talking about, Jacob Longwood. When LAR way don't get that 3 to 4 month break and their defense start clicking on all cylinders. Y'all gonna see what I'm talking about. When Brooklyn Nets start coming, and y'all gonna be like, well, what the hell happened to the Lakers? It's because they had everything easy last year. It ain't easy now. And when you see the Clippers blow their ass out after a ring ceremony, it's game one. I'm not gonna make no, but I already see what Kawhi did, because real ones know what Kawhi did. Kawhi was sending a little quick message, and if you really paid attention, you had your 3-dimensional thing on. The reason why I didn't really delve into it is because it's early, but I knew the message that Kawhi sent in that game. We coming for your ass. That was the message that he made very clear, and I can say this on the live. It was very clear. The message he made. Yeah, y'all won that bullshit last year, but this is the real shit, and we coming for your ass. Richy Rich, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much all summed it all up, man. Between the dichotomy of a Jordan and a Pippen, and their personalities when it comes to being a leader and a number 2 option guy. Jordan, it's like the whole dad and mom, bad cop, good cop thing. And that doesn't necessarily mean what Jordan is doing, he's a bad cop, because what he's doing, it's overall, it's great, it's good for the team. It's for the betterment of the team. And like you said, leadership is not easy. Being a leader is not easy, because you got to be able to rein in the guys when it's time to. And that is not always going to, stand well with some guys. A lot of guys, they feel that, a grown man, if they're a grown man, another grown man shouldn't be talking to them in some way, and that Jordan had a lot of that, of those type of experiences on the Chicago Bulls, and when he was on the Wizards, because I remember there was a document that came out about the Wizards. Some of those players, when Jordan was it was his final year with the Washington Wizards. They approached some of the guys on that team, the Jerry Stackhouse, Jahidi White, Chris Whitney, some of those, that was some of the guys on the team, Kwame Brown. They asked those guys, what are we going to get for Jordan as a retirement gift? Some of these players, they didn't want to get Jordan a retirement gift, because Jordan, he had, there was some moments throughout his tenure there, Jordan wasn't playing around with those guys. He wanted these guys to get on to start playing at a higher level. He was tough, because Washington Wizards, Washington Bullets. That's they were called the Washington Bullets in the past. For some of you that don't know, they had a losing history, man. It's a franchise that's always had a losing history. They never won anything. And Jordan, when he came there, he was trying to get them into the postseason. They were like one of the worst teams. But when Jordan, because Jordan, he was the president of basketball operations, and for him to go back and play, Jordan wanted to prove that he still had something left in the tank, and he wanted to see if he can get that team into the playoffs. He had to sell his major stake, because Jordan had stake in, he had a minority stake for the Washington Wizards at the time, but he had to sell his stake if he wanted to play, and he did that, so he was able to be eligible to play for the team. And Jordan wanted to change the culture of that team, man, because it was a losing culture. But we all know it when guys. Jordan kind of gave you a glimpse of what a losing culture is. When he told us in the Last Dance, when he first got to the Bulls, guys were doing drugs. They were doing paraphernalia, man. They were in the locker rooms. They had hookers and stuff like that. These dudes, man, that's what a losing culture is like. Guys are just there to be there, and they're gonna do their own thing. They don't care about winning. You know what I'm saying? They just gonna focus on their own thing. They just if they got a game, they're gonna show up. Even if they got to sleepwalk through the game, they just gonna show up. But they're not gonna give any effort out there. They're players making millions of dollars, but you're not getting the real effort out of them. Jordan came in there and changed the whole mindset. Jordan was a competitor. He was a winner. You know what I'm saying? And he was not a guy that was definitely not going to take a shortcut like LeBron James, who we know who's taking shortcuts for the last 11 seasons. This is why the NBA is in the toilet right now. People don't want to watch that league because they know we're not checking for shortcuts. I told this LeBron stand the other day. Me and we're talking about LeBron, and we were talking about. We're talking about the low ratings that the finals had, and I let that fool know, hey man, ain't no one checking for a shortcut ticket. LeBron James, he's the one who's diluted this game because he couldn't show that he was a guy that was able to take on a challenge. He showed what he showed. This man was being called the best player. Like I always bring this up on the show. The media had the balls to call this guy the best player in the game, while Kobe, rest in peace, Kobe was still winning championships. You got the nerve to call this guy the best player in the game, while Kobe was still winning titles as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers, winning Finals MVPs, still in his prime. And you try to leapfrog Kobe and crown this guy as the best player in the game, but yet this guy showed you he wasn't no king. He showed you he wasn't the best because he took that shortcut to Miami. He showed that he wasn't up to take the challenge. Like he was like, you know what? I'm gonna get Cleveland through this tough patch, through this tough road. I'm gonna win them this championship. I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna run to Pat Riley. I'm not gonna run to D Wade, and I ain't gonna run to Chris Bosh to win my first ring. He showed people, man, that he was a shortcut taker. It's why the league is where it's at now. A bunch of guys don't want to compete anymore. They want to take another road. They want to take an easier path for themselves, and they don't want to compete, man. They just don't want to compete. You got guys in the NBA that's getting these bloated contracts, and they're mediocre players, man. Look at Andrew Wiggins. This guy is getting, I think he's getting paid $150 million, and he's being asked to be a major option for the Golden State Warriors, and he's like I don't know what Andrew Wiggins is, but he sure is not no $100-something million player. And so far, what we've seen, Gordon Hayward, Jordan overpaid for homeboy, man. That dude is not a max contract player. There's a litany of guys that are just not that, man. And this is what Jordan mentioned a few years ago when he was on Oprah Winfrey's show with Charles Barkley about how guys are being paid ridiculous salaries before they can prove anything. You know what I'm saying? And this does is this brings in kind of like what it brings in is it brings in the wrong mindset, the wrong attitude that these guys can be paid. They can be paid high for their services, and what it does is it brings in laziness, man. Okay, I'm already paid. I don't really gotta go out there and bust myself now. I don't mind with the guys. I'm not trying to hate on these dudes. You don't hate on a player. You don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I'm saying? But the game is twisted right now. The game is definitely twisted because the game is hurting itself, right now. And Adam Silver, I never thought he was the right commissioner for the right successor to David Stern. He would have been the right, because we already heard how he was talking, how he was speaking, that he was going to be a soft version of David Stern, that he was going to try to bring in all these soft clauses, whatever, way of doing things completely different the way that David Stern was doing, where you could tell David Stern ran the NBA with an iron fist. He wasn't having it. Even when I remember when Kobe F on the in one of the games, David Stern fined Kobe $500,000, man. That's just how David Stern ran the league. That dude wasn't playing with stuff like that. He didn't care. He didn't care who you were. You know what I'm saying? You may have been the face of the league, but that man, you could tell that David Stern ran that league like the commissioner. It's commissioner supposed to run the league. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't having it. You know, and Adam Silver, he's like a people person. You could tell he looked out for the Lakers last year in the bubble title because Jeannie Buss has been begging this dude so long that, okay, you got to look out for the Lakers. You got to help us. You got to help bring the Lakers back on the map. And I feel that that's exactly what he did. He looked out for Jeannie Buss and the Los Angeles Lakers. And he made sure that they were able to win that championship. They were in that setting to win that championship, that Mickey Mouse bubble title. But it is what it is. David Stern may have mentored Adam Silver, but Adam Silver has his own agenda. It's like with anything. You could have a successor to anything, but just put it this way: your successor always has his own agenda. He's always going to try to bring in his ideals. He may try to. Of course, he's going to pay attention to what you got to tell him, what you got to teach him. The principles, he's gonna try to go, but Adam Silver wants his own legacy. You gotta look at it like that. Your successor always wants their own legacy. They want to be remembered for something that they did. That's how you gotta look at it. David Stern is remembered for what he did. He ran the NBA he was the commissioner for so long, and he ran the NBA with an iron fist. Adam Silver wants to be remembered for doing things that Adam Silver did. That's how you gotta look at things. That's how it is when you got a master and a pupil. That's how it always is.
There you go. It came from Richy Rich, so I don't need to do it. Hey, Trips winner, you're gonna learn something. Friendly or foe, we Ethan and Merc everybody up in this motherfucker. So you said something else wrong, it had to be Ethan and Merc. Richy Rich, Ethan and Merc, boy. There you go. Go ahead, Richy Rich. Finish it off though.
Yeah. But I feel that the NBA is missing that dichotomy between an MJ and a Pippen, because like you see it on a lot of these teams. You know, a number one guy can't be a number one guy anymore because he's gonna have issues with his teammates. They don't like that type of they don't like that type of setup anymore. Guys are not gonna stand up for a number one guy trying to, being a free speaking his mind to get these guys in gear to win championships. The last time we seen that was Kobe Bryant. Now it's totally different now. We're not going to see that. We're not seeing that anymore with this era, because guys don't like that. Guys are going to leave. Guys are going to threaten to leave a team if they have a player that has that kind of a personality now. You know, these players, like we mentioned before, the players are running the asylum, man. You know, the players are running the asylum now, and it's hurting the NBA. It's making the NBA a piss poor product, because the old model worked, man. The viewers were tuning in. I don't care. People trying to mention, it's the race wars that came in. No, it's not the race wars. We saw the viewers dwindling years and years ago. You know, people just didn't want to pay attention to that. You know, now these viewership numbers are at a number that, okay, we got to start paying attention, man. 5 million views in the finals. Listen, people were home, man. People weren't outside, going out, because we had this whole coronavirus. People weren't outside like that. How the hell a regular smegular Monday night football game that features the Seattle Seahawks and the Minnesota Vikings, how does a game like that bring in more viewers than an NBA final? That boggles my mind.
It's not an NBA finals. It's an NBA bubble. Isolation from reality. It was an infinite Sukuyumi, though.
But be real. Be real. He knows be real, he knows. Even if let's imagine if Kobe Bryant had to deal with that bubble and he was playing, people would be tuning in. If it was MJ that had to deal with that bubble, people would be tuning in, man.
But you know
It's
why?
because
But you know why they would be
James,
tuning
man.
in? You know why they would be tuning in? Because MJ and Kobe wouldn't have wanted the bubble. They would have said, "Look, we ain't doing no tournament stuff. We're gonna run this thing back. It's got to be 30 NBA teams, not 22, and we're gonna finish this season off." That's how they would have played it. Because those guys don't like to cheat the game, man. You heard MJ and Kobe. Every time they go out and play, we don't like to cheat a game of basketball. LeBron don't mind cheating a game of basketball. He's a cheater.
Exactly. He's a cheater. You know, Jordan and Kobe remind me of Goku.
Mm-hmm.
Goku and Vegeta. These guys, if you guys are familiar with Dragon Ball, it's the same way. Listen, they want a full-on competitive fight. They're not going to cheat the battle. They're going to take it head on. If they lose, they lose. If they win, they let the chips fall where they're supposed to fall. This is why I like Kobe.
Naruto and Sasuke the same way. They want it all, though. They want it all. They don't want to cheat.
They want it all. They're not gonna cheat. LeBron James, man, that fool is a shortcut taker, man. And you got the media calling this guy the best player in the game, the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's an insult to injury, man. It's a disrespect. I can't put him over Magic. I can't put him over Bill. I can't put him over Kareem. I can't put him over Duncan. I wouldn't even put him over Shaq. And Shaq didn't even take the game seriously. Let's be serious. If Shaq took the game seriously, working on his free throw, Shaq would have had more chips, man.
Yep.
Shaq would have had more chips. Shaq was a big like how you say it. He was an El Stupido, big stupido. If Shaq took the game if Shaq took the game more seriously, Shaq would have more rings right now. Shaq was a dominant force. You know what I'm saying? That could have won more championships. Shaq kind of underachieved if we really want to talk about Shaq's career. But I can't put LeBron over Shaq, man. I really can't, because LeBron never dominated like anymore. Where Shaq dominated to where you was like, damn, this guy, man. We don't have an answer for this guy. You know what I'm saying? LeBron has not contended unless he's been on teams with 2 All-Stars or a player of Anthony Davis's caliber. He has not contended for anything. That's how you got to look at it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's a guy, you know, he feels even like he's a schemer. That's what he is. He's a shortcut taker and he's a schemer. He's always going to try to scheme, man, to put things to like improve his odds at winning. That's just who he is now. And especially at this age, where he doesn't want to give the baton. I remember Anthony L mentioned one of the things that he said, where he was talking about how LeBron doesn't want to give the baton. You know, he's at this age, this advanced age, where he's trying to hold on to the baton, but Kevin Durant already snatched it from him 2 times already.
There you
know, Kevin Durant. The only reason why Kevin Durant, LeBron was able to get it back is because KD wasn't there. KD got hurt. He suffered that injury, that Achilles heel injury, and LeBron had that opportunity. But even with the opportunity, the Heat were able to still take 2 games in that fake bubble title. You know what I'm saying? With Goran Dragic and Bam Adebayo not playing the full amount of games in that series, that lets me know that okay, if LeBron James has to face competition, man, he's not going to win. You know, because Jimmy Butler was able to get 6 games, push this thing to 6 games, possibly 7 games. If I believe what was the game 6, they didn't show up to play. They just left. You could already tell. It looked like Jimmy was exhausted, and Dragic shouldn't have been out there. He messed up the flow because he couldn't even play. He had a fractured foot, and he kind of hurt the Heat. And Bam Adebayo didn't look right anyway. So they had 2 guys on hurt on the court who slowed down the team. They probably shouldn't have had these guys play. They would have had a better shot if they would just rolled with the same squad they had out there.
Yep.
You know, that's what happens when you bring back two guys who are injured. That's what they're gonna do. They should have had these guys come off the bench and ease them back in. But that kind of that's a conversation for another day. But LeBron James, he's what's wrong with the NBA because he's brought in this whole new mindset that it's okay to take shortcuts.
Yep.
It's okay for guys to always to be friendly. It's okay for the NBA to friendly league to not have a true rivals to where guys just don't like each other, man. Because this whole thing is fake. We know some of these guys don't like each other, but the NBA is trying to paint a picture, man, that's only hurting the game right now.
Exactly.
You know, it's not helping the game. The NBA in the past was an authentic NBA. You could tell. You know why you could tell it was authentic? Because guys was actually out there throwing fists. They didn't like each other. You know what I'm saying? Guys wanted to compete. They wanted to beat Jordan.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They hated those battles between the Knicks. Them cats hated Jordan. The Pistons, them cats hated Jordan. All the Eastern Conference teams hated Jordan. They wanted to rip Jordan's head off, man. But Jordan, listen, the Bulls, man, they did that thing, man. They were not losing. It was their time. Even those battles between the Lakers, the Celtics, those guys hated each other, man. There was a respect between those teams, but they hated each other. And there was actual leaders in those teams. Guys that wanted to lead their guys to success, to excellence. And they were going to lead them in the alpha way to where, you know, you're going to get screamed at. You're going to be made a fool of in practice. You know, you're going to do certain things to get a reaction out of that guy. Possibly a good reaction to where, you know, you get the best out of that player. You get him on the same page that you're here to win. You're here to win. You're not here to waste time. You're not here to be a loser. That's the problem. That's the problem with this NBA. You got the people who are leading these current teams in the NBA, they're not instilling that kind of mindset in these teams. Certain teams are okay with continue to be treadmill teams. You know what I'm saying? It's like some of these teams just never get better. The Charlotte Hornets, you know, it's not Jordan's fault. I know Jordan is doing whatever he can, but Jordan got to be an owner. He can't always be there in those practices. He can't always. He has to have somebody run those teams. And I mean, they're not getting enough out of those guys. Let's say let's bring up another team. The New Orleans Pelicans. That's another team right there. I mean, they went ahead and hired Stan Van Gundy, but these guys, man, you look at these guys like how are these guys going to be able to get to the next level? Who's the leader on that team? It can't be Zion at his young age. Who's going to be the real leader on that team right there? How did they get to the next level? You can't expect a young dude like Zion, you know, who can't even manage his own weight to be the leader of that basketball team. You know, like there's just a lot of these teams in the NBA, man. It's just they're like it feels like they're placeholders to me. Like they're not going to do anything. They're just going to be there to be there, and that's the problem.
Man. Jacob Lone Wolf, close us out, man. I want you to give us a closing summary, though, for the Free Thinkers movement, though. Close us out.
Yeah, you know, I want to say, you know, I agree with everything, you know, Richy said. You know, you nailed it. And yeah, you know, I want to thank you, you know, for inviting me, you know, on this live stream, you know, to talk about basketball and to talk about, you know, just about, you know, what the game is and the NBA and the current state that it is in today. You know, to be honest, I can't watch a full NBA game, man. Like, unless if it's Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, or any of those type of players, man, I don't watch, man. Like, I only watch the highlights. Like, if I was to watch a full game, it would probably be Brooklyn, even possibly the Lakers, or depending on if they're versus Milwaukee, those type of teams. Giannis. But other than that, man, like all the other teams, a lot of these players, man, they suck, man. You know, it's terrible. Man.
Why you always think I say check me in to the playoffs, and I salute Lewis. Lewis is that's why I say Lewis is a historian. Lewis gonna follow everything. But me, yeah, check me in Y'all want to see me cover games? Check me into the playoffs. That's how boring this shit is, though.
Yeah. And I want to commend Lewis, man, because he actually watches the games. He's the one that he actually, does commentary on these games, man. So
Lewis, we
I
salute
gotta
you because you're
salute you,
doing a
man.
hard job, man.
I can't do
you
that.
covering boring ass fucking games. We give you salute for that, though.
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, but I think like the NBA this year, man, is going to be a great season. Like from the standpoint of the playoffs, I feel like this is the Clippers season. And with the Brooklyn Nets, I think they can make. They possibly could make the finals, but he knows I don't want Katie to have that finals loss in his record because I think that with an Achilles injury, it takes like 2 years for him to be at his peak form. So I reckon next season there'll be the Brooklyn Nets might win a championship. But I think this year is LA our way. I think the Clippers are ready. I think they're stacked, and I think they're going to win the championship. So I got the Clippers winning the 2021 NBA championship.
I ain't mad at you for that, bro.
Richy.
I ain't mad at you for that.
Yeah, Richy, who you got, man? Like, do you agree?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of 50 with you, man, because I'm looking at the Nets right now. Obviously, we got to see Durant's progression, how he plays throughout the season. But if everything turns out for him okay, man, it's gonna be tough for that Clippers team to beat that Nets team because the Clippers still lack some size, man. They have to go acquire another big, because preferably someone like a JaVale McGee who could block shots and get rebounds, or somebody, man, because although he's a nice shot blocker, he lacks some size. He's only about 6'10". They got Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan. These guys are 7-footers, and they block shots. They get rebounds, man. These guys are gonna eliminate, guys, like scrubs. When you're like you on those teams when you're playing certain teams in the playoffs, right? And you're like, okay, we gotta lock up these scrubs on the team. Star players can have whatever they want, but we gotta make sure scrubs don't score. Like preferably on the Lakers. Let's give an example. Alex Caruso, a guy like that, you can't allow a scrub like that to go off. You know what I'm saying? Or Cal, I'm not gonna call Kyle Kuzma a scrub. Kyle Kuzma look like he could score here and there. I'm talking about guys that they look like you're not supposed to be letting them score go off. Like when they drive to the rim, these guys are gonna eliminate that type of stuff. They're gonna make sure guys that are not supposed to score are not supposed to score. So the Nets have that advantage, man, when it comes to bigs. Now, if Kevin Durant is what he looks is looking like right now in the postseason, man, that's gonna be a nightmare for everybody because this man showed Kawhi Leonard when he stepped out on the floor in that game where he played 11 minutes when it was the Raptors and the Warriors in that finals. Listen, man, even with his calf strain, his Achilles, this man was lighting up Kawhi Leonard like it was nothing. Mm-hmm. It looked like that. That's what I'm saying. Kevin Durant is a dangerous player, man. That dude is it's like you're at his mercy, bro. You just gotta hope this guy is having an off night. Because if his shots are falling, it's gonna be hard to beat this man. And now you got Kyrie.
Even when the shots are not falling, Kevin Durant does everything else off the ball.
That's what I'm saying.
People don't give him credit for it.
He could still defend because in those games against the Nets, he was taking on the challenge of guarding Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and he was making it difficult for them. So I mean, we were questioning if he was gonna have some issues playing defense. He looks good out there right now. We got to see him throughout. I'm hoping that Kevin Durant lasts the season, that he has no setbacks because the league needs KD, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a bright light for the league.
Point you made earlier makes sense. Let Kyrie Irving do all the heavyweight lifting so that he don't overexert himself and he could be prepped for the playoffs.
Yeah. But right now I'm 50-50. If the Clippers could address their big man issue, man, I believe it goes 7 games. May the best man win.
Teach you something, God. Teach people on boxing. I'm gonna have to teach you this on the basketball side. There ain't no 50-50 over here, though. When you give 50% of yourself, you give 50%. You give 50%. So you got to make a pick, lay on that bad boy, and double down on that bad boy with confidence and fortitude. I gave Jacob Lone Wolf
as of now,
because Jacob Lone Wolf said the Los Angeles Clippers make a pick, drop the cojones.
I'm gonna make my pick
double
now.
down on that
I'm gonna make
bad
my
boy
pick now.
and lay it with confidence and fortitude.
All right, I'm gonna make my pick now. As of now, it's the Nets. It's the Nets. I gotta give it to them. I think they're a well-rounded team.
Now we talking. You see, Jacob Lowe Wolf set an alpha standard. You got to follow it, though. Don't come over
Who
with
you
that
got? You
data.
know.
Who I got?
Yeah.
You already know. You already know. I mean, that's you don't even need to ask that, though. The 50, 40, 90 walking gazelle. Listen, man, I like the Clippers. I like Kawhi Leonard, but those 11 minutes told you everything you needed to know. Even Kawhi was like, help. Hey, what's Kawhi got to guard Kevin? You already know. You heard what Kevin Durant told Serge Ibaka. Hey, man, yeah, it's nice. I want you to go watch that episode with Serge Ibaka. What are you cooking? And he told Serge Ibaka, yeah, man. You see, hey, J.O., he's from the boxing side of things, so he know when I say that. Richy Rich is blood brother, but I had to tell him that, though. I don't play that 50-50 over here. You got to make a pick. Double down on that bad boy and lay on it with confidence, fortitude, though. But anyways, Richie got the message now. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Serge Ibaka was talking trash saying, but we got Kawhi Leonard. You know what Kevin Durant told him? I don't give a flying, you know what? I'm KD. Do you not know who I am? I'm Kevin Durant. Who could guard me? Who could check me? And he said, well, we got Kawhi. So I'm Kevin Durant. I'm second to nobody. I defer to nobody. So in those 11 minutes, I like Kawhi, but you remember, Kawhi's a tier down from Kevin, though. So when it's all said and done, Kevin gonna Ramalan Kawhi Leonard. Let's not get it twisted. Now, barring injuries, because we have to say that now, because both of them have issues. Kawhi Leonard's load management, and Kevin Durant now got the Achilles, so we got to watch them. Now we have to start saying that. Barring injuries, if both of them are 100% and they make it to the NBA Finals, Kawhi can't see Kevin, though. He can't see him. Because I'm going to tell you what Kobe said. And Kobe said this thing best. There you go, Triplin. He said, yeah, Serge Ibaka cooked snake that day too. Yeah, KD was straight stunting. Yeah, he was. He was strutting on that episode. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought, man. Trips messed me up real quick. I was talking about Kawhi and KD, right?
Yeah. You were talking about that.
Okay. Well, this is what people got to understand. Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant said this best, man. Kobe Bryant said, and he learned this from Kevin Durant in the 2008 Olympics. Kevin Durant already mastered all of the skill set of the game. I just had to work on his mental. Whereas with Kawhi, Kobe said I had to work on his mental and his game. You see the difference between the both of them? He didn't have to work on Kevin's game. He just had to work on Kevin's mental. Whereas Kawhi, he had to work on Kawhi's game and Kawhi's mental. So that's a whole nother animal right there. So if I have to pick between the both of them, remember when I told you there's levels to this beta stuff? There's levels to this alpha stuff too. I got to go with the highest alpha in the stock, man. And I'm just sorry. Kevin Durant is going to Ramalan Kawhi Leonard if they're both at playoff 100%, because it's very key to say that. There's 100%, right, when you come into the season, and then there's playoff / NBA Finals version of 100% look like. So if they're both 100% version of that, I'm picking Kevin Durant over Kawhi Leonard any day of the week, because I just know Kevin Durant's just on another level, and even Kawhi can't check him.
Yeah, okay, because I've seen like throughout history, we've seen that when players come back, the season that they do come back is usually like an experiment to see if they're at that form that they were. So me being a historian, I always got it, because Kawhi, he's seeking revenge. KD's seeking to come back, as his true self. So I think Kawhi has more to prove this year, with the Clippers and with what's happened and all that. I reckon it's his time to shine this year. Next year, I'll got the Brooklyn Nets. And I remember that game that you were talking about when KD came back for Game 5 of the 2019 finals. the weird thing for me was like, right, because I was rooting for the Raptors the whole time, right, when they
Mm-hmm.
were going up against the Warriors. Once KD came back, I was like, okay, I want to switch to the Warriors because I want to see him lash the Raptors. As soon as he got injured, I was back to the Raptors
Yep. Yep.
supporting, you know. So yeah, so me, I think I got the Clippers. You know, I feel like this year because I feel like in the East, what's going to happen. The Brooklyn Nets are going to go deep, and I think something's probably going to happen. I got them going to the Eastern Conference Finals, probably against Milwaukee, because I know Giannis lost to the Heat last year. I think it's kind of somewhat of a fluke because it was in a bubble, but I think Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee will probably make the finals this year against the
Mm-hmm.
Clippers. That's what I got. So I'm making my predictions all the way, and if my predictions go wrong, then I have to eat that crow. You know that he knows that's on his
That's
boxing
it.
whenever he
That's
gets
it.
a prediction wrong. So
Yep.
that's my finals. I got the Clippers and the Bucks, and I got Kawhi rambling Giannis again. So that's
Mm-hmm.
all I gotta say.
You see, that's why I respect Jacob Lone Wolf. You see what he said? That's why Jacob Lone Wolf said the most powerful thing. When he knows the sport get a boxing prediction wrong, he eats crow. See, everybody knows this. I've been the same guy from day one. But what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna eat crow if it's a bribery and a robbery. I'm not gonna do that because I know boxing has politics and corruption. So I'm never gonna eat crow off of things that I know my brain is too smart to understand. I'm not gonna eat crow on that. That's never gonna happen. You might as well kick rocks on that. And the other thing that I'm not going to eat crow on is when the boxing judges are doing this thing where they're making sure that whoever loses, they get like kind of like a cute loss. Like that happened with Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez. They gave Canelo Alvarez a cute loss, like it was a split decision. But we know Floyd washed them, double washed them, and triple washed them. Should have been unanimous all the way through. This is the little things boxing do, right? But on the basketball side of things, that I just said that real quick because Jacob Lone Wolf knows, and he don't even follow me on boxing. He knows it. Everybody's been following this platform. He knows sport been the same. He knows there's no other YouTuber that can say this, man. I'm sorry. I've been the same motherfucker from day one, and I'm gonna always be the same motherfucker. I'm not gonna change. That's just the way it rolls. Just because I'm telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, you feeling some type of way about it. No. Just like Lomachenko and Lopez. Lomo's fucking bribed and robbed. You heard Bob Aaron. He just came out the other day and said Lomachenko and Deontay Wilder are idiots. They need to shut the hell up. That's an old car salesman, shiesty motherfucker that's telling you, shut up. I robbed them, shut up. And if you ain't smart enough to catch that, then if you're a dodo head, that's on you. Now back to basketball, just to close this out. What people got to understand is when Jacob said what he said and the power behind what he said is so true. I respect the fact that he's picking Kawhi. I'm not going against it. This is a free thinkers movement. You're supposed to freely say whatever the hell come out your mouth. And he's bringing up great points because we don't know what Kevin Durant is going to be, right? When it's all said and done. We don't know the product that Kevin Durant's going to bring to the table. But what we do know is this. If they both end up the end of the season, because we have to preference this in a very contextualized manner, if they both end up 100% of themselves, I'm picking Kevin Durant over Kawhi Leonard because I have 11 minutes of the NBA Finals that told me that Kawhi can't check him. Kawhi was asking for help. He was gasping for breath. He looked like he needed a life vest. And if Kevin Durant's on a whole nother thing, then it's what it is. Now, one thing that I disagree in my free thinkers iteration of what Jacob said, Kevin Durant just has just as much at stake as Kawhi Leonard does. Kawhi has the looming thing of LeBron James, but Kevin Durant lost his NBA best title that he supposedly never lost. That's motivation in and of itself. And then the fact that people forgot that Kevin Durant rambling LeBron James back to back, straight draked his ass. That's motivation in and of itself. So I think Kevin Durant is just as motivated as Kawhi Leonard to prove a point. And when you got two motivated basketball players on that level, this is the term that we say, Jacob Lone, you've heard it before. The immovable object versus the unstoppable force. That's what you got going on with these two guys. They're going to be coming in this year to prove an emphatic point, and they're going to dominate any and everything. They're going to eat and murk any and everything in their way, man. And that's what the cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat true teller fashion is all about. Jacob Lone Wolf, you killed this live today, man. Walking 5 bars. Richy Rich, walking napalm, eat Nas, eat the mode, you name it. Everyone in the chat, y'all did y'all thing, man. This is what we're about here in the Free Thinkers Movement. We're about upholding the standard of basketball, preserving the standard of basketball, and ethering and murking anyone that's not doing that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this show. Next week's show, we're going to continue on those last two topics we didn't get to. And then there's a whole litany of stuff that's going to happen throughout the week that we're going to bring up. And with these guys here on the panel, don't be surprised if we start going in sublet conversations. So, Jacob, don't ever apologize about that, because you have a unique ability to go into sublet conversations, but always come back to the original point. A lot of people don't have that skill. I have it. So when I see somebody else do it, I appreciate it. I applaud it. And I'm very enthused by it. And Richy Rich has that skill too. When you see us go off on tangents, there's a reason for that. Because we're gonna rein you right back in to the context at hand. And that's what you guys got. You guys got a lot of sublet conversations, but it all was relative to the topic at hand. So those that are new to the platform, hit the subscription button, comment, like, and share. Donate to the platform. Give your Sunday's best. Whatever you can give, we thoroughly appreciate that. We're thoroughly enthused by it, because this is the hottest live smoking when it comes to basketball. Make sure you check out my brother Jacob Lone Wolf and the Wealth Dreamers, his channel on YouTube. The brother's doing his thing. He's teaching you guys about health. He's teaching you guys about wealth. He's teaching you guys about finance, and he's teaching you guys about how to be financially free. Check out my boy Lewis Sports Network. Like Lewis said, like Jacob Lone Wolf said, and he made me thoroughly. Jacob don't understand how many times he made me laugh during this live, but it was funny. The NBA now is boring as hell. If you think it's boring to Lewis, if you think it's boring to Jacob, that shit is 1,000 times more boring than me. I don't cover regular season games because if I do that, it pisses me off. It just pisses me off because I know the product is shit. But come playoff time, I'll start covering, because that's where it matters the most. That's where heavyweight lifting is at. But y'all check out Lewis Sports Network and how he's able to ether and murk these cats through the hard job that he has to do in covering this boring ass fucking NBA season, man. Y'all take care. Y'all enjoy yourselves. Y'all have a great Sunday. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. We're going to come back next week. We're going to kill it again with the 5th episode of the Free Thinkers Movement. We're going to have the cast that you see that's in front of us, along with some other people. Like I said, we're going to continue on with the topics we continued on with, and we got a litany of other stuff. And trust me, Jacob Lone Wolf and Richy Rich, I'm going to touch in with you guys halfway in the week, because there's 2 topics that I want to bring to you guys that I'm saving for next week. You guys are going to thoroughly love it. There's going to be a lot of sublet conversation that's going to come from those topics, and we're just going to go from there, because this season has a lot to unpack, and we're going to unpack it. And I want everybody to know, when we on live, we are better than a fucking boring ass basketball game. So when motherfuckers come in the comment section and tell us the Clippers and the Nets are the Clippers and the Mavs, we don't give a flying fuck about that. We're more entertaining than they ass. Who the hell want to watch Cavs and Mavericks over this live? So higgity hush with that nonsense. Y'all take care. Y'all have a great Sunday. Peace.